So, I know that this has been out for a while, but I never had a chance to watch it. But now I finally got to watch it, and yes, I am doing a review on the Scooby-Doo Courage the Cowardly Dog crossover. Yeah. Now, this is something, like, of all crossovers you'd expect, this makes a lot of sense for Scooby-Doo. Hell of a lot more than the WWE crossovers, I can give you that. So, yeah. This was just a lot of fun. This was, and that's really what it is. I did have some problems with it, but it was more tiny things, which I'll get into. The story is that Courage and Scooby-Doo meet after encountering a strange sound, and the Farmhouse of Nowhere and the Mystery Inc. gang all come together to try to solve a big mystery going on, and why is Nowhere so weird. It's kind of fun because, like, this project had apparently been in development hell for years, and it was not being worked on with John L. Dilworth, the creator of Courage, which is weird. But this was a crossover that was something that, like, makes a lot of sense, and we kind of gotten in the past with little commercials here and there. So it's kind of fun. There are a few problems with it, but like I said, let's talk about the positives. The positives is this is a giant love letter to Courage the Cowardly Dog. I do think the creators really like the idea of bringing back Courage at least one more time, at least this incarnation of Courage, before we get a reboot of some kind. And it really got to play with a lot of, like, fun elements here and there. It really got to have a lot of fun. They got to do little tiny references. They did massive references. Just all around. And also, speaking of references, there's literally 2 Young Frankenstein references. And as a fan of Mel Brooks movies, I very much appreciate a good Young Frankenstein reference here and there. This is tragically the last voice role for Thea White before she passed away, the voice actress from Muriel. Eustace's voice actor had already passed away, and I'm not a big fan, and I'm not saying, like, oh, I missed the original one. No, it just felt like the voice actor they had for Eustace in here just did not work for me. It just, something about it just did not roll with me, and I just did not, like, really feel it. It really didn't feel good. Thea White, she was great, and it's kind of sad knowing that she passed away shortly after this, so it's kind of somber sweet. Courage's voice actor is great, as always. And, yeah. This is a crossover that makes a lot of sense, in that this makes a hell of a lot more sense than, you know, the WWE. This is also the problem I have with it, though. When we do have a problem with this thing, is that the problem is that I feel like it didn't need to be a movie. It really did not feel like it needed. This didn't need to be a movie. Like, maybe a 45-minute special tops. This didn't need to be an hour and 20 minutes. This just could have been like a 45-minute special, and that's all. Because a lot of stuff in here feels really superfluous. Like, it really doesn't feel like it doesn't move the plot along. It doesn't move anything. It really doesn't do, like, anything. It's just set pieces. And I know Scooby-Doo is notorious for that. But this really, like, got into it. Like, this really, like, really padded out some stuff. Like, I'm gonna spoil this. Actually, what the fuck am I spoiling? This has been out for over a year. Did anyone ask for, like, a Eustace rap scene? A full 2.5 minutes of Eustace rapping. Did anyone ask for that? I'm generally curious. Did anyone really ask for a Eustace Baggs rap scene? I sure as hell didn't. So that was interesting. And there's other scenes, and while there are, like, great callbacks to... Because clearly the creative team behind this knew their homework. Like, they generally knew their homework for both Courage and Scooby-Doo. They really knew their homework. because there's some great callback gags to not just Courage, but also Scooby-Doo. Like, generally, like, when's the last time you had... Remember, like, in the classic Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Where Scooby and Shaggy would encounter the monster and, like, make a gag that would confuse them to no end, and they'd barely get away with it because they screwed something up? They actually have that gag in here, and I'm like, oh, that's a very underappreciated gag from the classic show. I'm glad you brought that back. Maybe they have. I'm not intaking every amount of Scooby information. I will stand here, and I know someone in the comments will go, well, actually, in this movie or this series, they actually called it back. I don't watch everything Scooby-Doo, people. So, for me, I was like, huh, they actually did it. They actually did that nice little callback. That's cute. That's adorable. And also, like, there's also chase scenes that go on a bit too long, and it just feels like it's more padding. And I know chase scenes in Scooby-Doo are kind of necessary, but it really does feel like extra like it's just padding out the runtime. And again, need I remind you, Eustace Baggs' rap scene. Did anyone ask for this? Because I didn't, and I'm sure a lot of you didn't either. It does kind of end more on a Courage note, because it's kind of clear that these people really like Courage the Cowardly Dog more than Scooby-Doo, and in most crossovers I'm always like, you gotta keep them even. And the finale is very Courage heavy. Like, the finale is very Courage heavy at the end. And when you find out who's behind it, you're already like, well, I kind of like, okay, I kind of saw that coming. But when you find out who they are, I'm gonna swear it's Cats and LaQuack, of course, because of course it was Cats and LaQuack that did all of this. It's a lot of fun. There's some great great references to both shows. I think this really does honor it. While I do think that this does play heavily more into Courage. And I always am if you're going to do a crossover, you got to have, like, balance for both. And I feel like the ending would have sit with me better if you had Scooby there to help with Courage at the end. But at the same time, I'm like, when's the last time we had anything Courage the Cowardly Dog? Like, really, any time. This comes out in an era where the show is gone and there's been nothing but talks of reboots. So really, there's a part of me that's also really at peace with it, because it's like, it's kind of nice to see you, Courage. The computer voice, also, side note, speaking of voices that didn't sit with me, I know we didn't have the computer voice for obvious reasons, but the guy they got just did not work. Ugh, it was bad. And I understand, they have no control over that. I fully acknowledge that they have no control over over voice actors passing or not being able to be gotten again. It's just that the people they get for these... Yeah, Andrea Romano's not on part of these projects. Let's just say that. All in all, it's a decent, fun crossover. I watched it on HBO Max. It was pretty decent. If you want to stream it, go ahead. You can probably get it now for really cheap now. So, being the crossover guy, I had to give it a look. But you got it. All in all, it's decent. It's Scooby-Doo movies really range from. Of course, we have the God tier, which is Zombie Island, and then there's, the big four movies, Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase, and Alien Invaders, the big four. So those are the God tier of Scooby-Doo movies, which I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. Anyway, so all in all, hope you all enjoyed this review. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this movie? And just, comment below, let me know. Once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.